Yeah, so I went out and saw Twisters, and I was shocked by how much I liked it. I was expecting to like it, but I thought it had like a lot of heart. I was really surprised more than it is just a straight disaster movie. It has this soul to it, this internal stuff that's working so well, which I find seems to be a problem with a lot of horror movies, especially action movies too. But I go back to the like the don't show the shark of it all. The Steven Spielberg don't show Bruce because Bruce looks dumb, and so well, what's the other half of the story there? Well, it's characters' reactions to it. So yes, in a movie like Twisters, you come for the twisters, you come for the devastations, the explosions, and the car chases and all that kind of stuff. But what really lands the movie, what makes the movie anything but hollow, is the Glen Powell and Daisy Edgar-Jones's reactions to it. And credit where credit's due, they're good actors. The thing I'm going to get to in a second, but it's the people's reaction shots. That's really what makes the movie. That's what makes the movie interesting. That's what makes the movie exciting. That's what contextualizes. You know, things are only things in stories based on context. If there's a tornado that goes by and you don't have somebody reacting to it, it doesn't really mean anything. You can put your own sort of, you know, mental state onto it, but it doesn't really have any stakes in the story as it's told. But when you have the characters in real time showing you what they're going through, that's really what lands the story. One such sequence, and it's when the tornado hits the motel and they end up a couple of them hunkering down in the pool. If you look at the shot when they're in the pool, you don't see the tornado, you don't see the devastation. There's a car on top of them. You know, they're just surviving. There's a few of these moments in this story, but this is the moment where we're literally in real time experiencing what they're experiencing. Obviously, we're doing it vicariously, but you know, they're suffering. They got the adrenaline going. They're panicking. They're freaked out. They're holding on for dear life. They're just trying to survive. And I think that's really where the story is. It's the survival aspect of it. This is how you get the audience, the regular Joes experiencing what, you know, they're experiencing as it unfolds. And what's even crazier is, and I think this was a stroke of genius for whoever decided to do this, you know, the creative departments, either the director, the writer, you know, maybe the actors, and probably all of them combined, is this shot continues. And so you don't just see them ride out the storm and freak out, but you see the moments after. And so it actually leads into this incredible aftermath of what you see happen. But more importantly, you see them, you know, Glen Powell and Daisy Edgar-Jones, as they're walking out, they're still shaking, they're still freaking out, they're still in the moment. And I think that's really true to the story, really true to the storytelling, where, you know, if you have some heightened, you know, crazy moment, you don't just shrug it off and go to the next scene in your life. You it stays with you, it haunts you. It you know, that's the argument for PTSD, honestly. As far as storytelling goes, I think it's the way to go. But this movie is just chock full of, you know, these great spectacles, and then you have the character reacting to it. And I think that's what's so important, is the character reactions. And you credit where credit's due. It seems like most of the actors in this movie, if not all of them, are great at really letting you know what's going on in their heads based on their faces, especially in really intense scenes. That's the story. And so, you know, story is character, story is tracking, you know, characters' emotional state, moment to moment, scene to scene, that kind of thing. And what this movie, I think, does so well is it gives you the spectacle, and then it gives you the character, their expression to contextualize what's going on. And so even if you don't speak the language, even if you're in just a total moment of chaos, you understand where their head's at, and you understand what the jeopardy is. And in something like a disaster movie, the jeopardy is always death. So, you know, I think there's a real risk when you deal with something that's a disaster movie, where death is sort of the only game in town, that you get into a place where you can get sort of desensitized to it. But I think bringing it back to the characters, and the characters having emotional reactions to things, I think that's how you keep it grounded, and you keep the context correct. And so you don't get fatigued, you don't get desensitized to the fact that at any given second, if they're not making the right choices, they could die. I think that's what this movie did so well. So what do you guys think? Did you guys see this movie? Am I just making something up? Am I putting a thing on a thing that's not a thing? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you next time.